Call the meeting to order and call on Councilor Barton to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilor Brown.
Here.
Councilor Jennings.
Here.
Councilor Broughton. Councilor Watson. Councilor Barton.
Here.
Mayor Lovelace.
Here.
We have a quorum to do business.
Approve the November 23rd meeting minutes.
Motion to approve minutes for November the 23rd, 2020.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Barton, second by Councilor Brown to approve the November 23rd regular meeting minutes. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Jennings?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
The motion is approved and the minutes for November 23rd, 2020 regular meeting minutes are approved.
I'm calling Ray Madden to discuss the purchase of property at next item is approve the accounts payable for November 2020.
Motion to approve accounts payable.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilor Brown, a second by Councilor Barton to approve the accounts payable for November 2020. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Jennings?
I abstain.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Lovelace? The accounts payable for November 2020 are approved.
The next item is to approve the purchase of real property at 1006 Douglas Avenue, and I'll call on Ray Madden. You want to come over here?
Council and Mayor, I was coming to ask y'all, we actually looking at this property right here, the old Oaks Cafe building right here. It's joining the fire department, we're fixing to build a new fire department. And anyway, what we're doing is the piece of property that we're asking to buy, it actually enhances us so we don't have to spend extra money, which they're saying to build a retainer wall is going to cost us anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000. We can buy this piece of property for about $55,000. Plus and all that, then we can come back and actually use the building as in the future once we get through building the fire department. And it'd just be a win-win situation for all the way around. And I'm asking the council to approve to buy that piece of property for $55,000. Any questions?
Who are we buying it from?
Rick Hines is who's on the property. Who's on the
And you've said this a couple of times, but I just want to make sure that I understand it completely. Having this property, if we choose to buy it, we then do not have to build the retaining wall that is required for the fire department in that project, correct?
That's correct. And I've got Russell Holland here to back me up if that's, ain't that what we discussed? Yes, sir, that's correct.
That's resolution number 20-1214.
I'm on motion to approve resolution 20-1214.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Brown, second by Councilor Barton to approve resolution 20124. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Jennings?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
The resolution 20-1214 for purchasing real property at 1006 Douglas Avenue is approved.
Thank y'all.
Next item is to approve the matching funds for ADECA grant, resolution number 20-1214-1, and I'll call on Russell Holland with Southern Engineering.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Part of your CBG grant that you received to do work on for Valville downtown and also the water system as part of your economic development grant. involved us doing some utility work down there around Corvallis. When we got into that, we found some things down there that we didn't originally know about just because of the old buildings and the old concrete. We discovered it kind of after the fact. And we actually approached the state about acquiring some more grant funds for this project. We were granted those funds, and part of receiving that grant, the city just has to agree to match the portion that they're providing us. And that's essentially what this is for. The city committing to match an additional $50,000 to the $200,000 that ADECA has given us to complete that drainage work and utility work downtown. So it's an agreement that goes along with a part of a funding process that you already have in place. We're basically just receiving some more grant funds from ADECA for this project.
Any questions? So that's resolution number 20-12-14-1.
Motion to approve Resolution 20-12-14-1.
Second.
A motion by Counselor Barton, a second by Counselor Brown to approve Resolution 20-1214-1. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
Counselor Jennings,
Yes.
Counselor Barton.
Yes.
The resolution for approving match funds for the ADECA grant, resolution number 201214-1 is approved.
The next item is to approve Volkert Inc. for a bridge inspection, resolution number 20-12-14-2. And again, I'll call on Russell Holland with Southern Engineering.
Thank you, Mayor. The city is due for their every 2-year inspection on the Lee Street Bridge. Obviously, the bridge received some damage during Hurricane Sally. So in conjunction with the event now that has the bridge shut down currently with Hurricane Sally and the fact that the city is due for their 2-year inspection, we reached out to Volkert Incorporated to come down and do a full inspection of the bridge, which involves not only a visual inspection of the structure, but also a structural inspection by way of a dive team. And that's what you'll see here is the price that they presented of $4,784.44. That coincides with what we've seen from other inspection companies, especially when you add in the addition of the underwater inspection of the bridge. And we'd like for the council to consider approving this so we can go ahead and have this inspection take place. ALDOT requires that the city have this bridge inspection every 2 years, so we're a little bit behind now. They understand that the storm kind of causes some delays, but this will also satisfy ALDOT's requirement for the city to have the bridge inspection as well.
Any questions? All right, it's resolution number 20-12-14-2.
Motion to approve number 20-1214-2.
A second.
Motion by Counselor Brown, second by Counselor Jennings for resolution number 201214-2. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Jennings?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Resolution number 20-1214-2 to approve bridge inspection agreement with Volkert Inc. has been approved.
Next item is to approve an engineering service agreement with Southern Engineering Solutions for an ATRIP 2 project, resolution 20-12-14-4. Again, I'll call on Russell Holland, Southern Engineering.
We need to do 3 first,
Yeah, that's
sorry.
3.
Resolution -3.
There's actually 2 parts to this. They both pertain to the same project. You all are probably very familiar with the ATRIP program that the city applied for and received funds for back in 2012-2013. This is ATRIP 2. This is an extension of the gas tax revenue that was passed a couple of years ago, and is the state's way of passing down funds to the Alabama Department of Transportation for municipalities to do infrastructure improvements. The city applied for this funding to do improvements on the southern portion of South Road, along with the intersection of McClellan Street and Highway 31. That grant was awarded to the city by the Alabama Department of Transportation, and as part of the award process, the state has an agreement that they would like to enter into with the city to do preliminary engineering and also right-of-way acquiring, or right-of-way acquisition. This is a new step that we didn't have in the ATRIP 1 process, but it is a standard portion of the ATRIP 2. The state will help the city acquire right-of-way in that area if it's deemed necessary, and they will also review the engineering design plans. And the total of that amount is $34,000. $24,000 for the right-of-way acquisition and then $10,000 for the preliminary engineering review. And again, this is just part of the process. You've been awarded the funds, but this is part of moving forward with the design of the project. You have to enter this agreement with the state first before we can move forward to the actual design of the project.
What was the grant total awarded?
The grant total awarded, they awarded $760-something thousand. I don't know that exact amount, but it's around $760,000 that they awarded. I think the original cost estimate for this project was close to $1 million, 900-something thousand. They awarded the full amount. The rest of that is matching funds that the city had already decided that they would to match in the full project. So it's a large project. It'll be a good infrastructure improvement project for the city.
That's resolution number 20-12, 14-3.
Motion to approve resolution 20-12, 14-3.
A second.
Motion by Counselor Barton, second by Counselor Jennings to approve Resolution 201214-3. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Jennings?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
The resolution 201214-3 to enter in an agreement with ALDOT for the ATRIP 2 project has been approved.
Thank you. Thank you.
One more.
Oh, there's one more. Huh?
12-14-4. In conjunction with the agreement that you just approved, this agreement is between the City of Brewton and Southern Engineering Solutions to perform the design services on this ATRIP 2 project. We've been kind of holding that, kind of delaying the design portion of this until we sign the agreement with the state. Now that the city has moved forward with that, we'll move forward with the design of this project, which is the same one. Southern end of Sowell Road and the intersection of McClellan and Highway 31. The design services agreement.
$60,681.48.
Yes, sir.
Design and environmental.
That's correct.
Any questions?
No.
Not. That's resolution number 20-12, 14-4.
Motion to approve 20-1214-4.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Brown, second by Counselor Jennings to approve Resolution 201214-4. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Jennings?
Yes.
Counselor Barton?
Yes.
Resolution 201214-4 to approve an engineering services agreement with Southern Engineering is approved.
Thank you. Next item is a discussion on the demolition of 118 Lynbrook Drive, and I'll call on Steve Uhouse.
Mayor and Council. Property at 118 Lynbrook has been property that's received attention, certainly is considered for some time to be a nuisance in that particular area. A title opinion has been run on this property and had several owners in recent years. And from my review of the file, it looks like every time the city got right on the cusp of being able to take action on it, somebody would kick the can down the road, ownership would change, and then that would put a delay in the situation. Upon assuming these particular duties in recent months, Councilor Brown, through her persistence, wanted it to be looked at and be looked at carefully. I reviewed the file, and everything was in order with the exception one step was omitted. So I picked up from that point and I did an in-detail certified piece of mail to send to the owner, checking all the boxes and touching all the bases project. That certified letter was sent on September the 30th, notifying the owner that they had 45 days in which to act. Nearing the culmination or the end of that 45 days, I received notice that the property was changing hands again. And these individuals expressed interest in renovating the property and doing necessary things to satisfy us. So I was in communication with Councilor Brown, and she thought it best that since the time had expired and passed, that we brought to the council we brought to your attention to get your wisdom and your direction on what to do. The people who were acquiring the property had told me that they had acquired it. So that meant it would have gone into new hands, and I had to start the process over again. They had grand plans for what they were going to do, and they indicated to me that they were more than happy to come to the council today, explain to you what they intended to do with this property, and to get your leniency and patience and understanding for them to do the work. Received a phone call. So I came in and sat down and looked at it. It was a familiar number, stepped outside, and it was these people who had told me that they had acquired the property, but in the conversation a few moments ago, they indicated to me that they had yet to receive a deed. They were still in the process of it, and they were hesitant to come before the council, make any promises about what they would do with the property until the deed was in hand. Now, I have photographs of this property if you would like for me to share them with you. This house can be renovated, but we're talking about an extreme makeover in order for it to happen. The grounds are a nuisance, the backyard is a nuisance. If you want to look at the photographs I have, you can see that the building is a nuisance. So I thought I had somebody coming to tell you this evening what they were going to do with it and get your backing and your support. I did go ahead and send a certified letter to these people notifying them that they would be on the 45-day clock so that I could take action and take it swiftly and briskly. But I guess technically, since they've not obtained the property, they're not on the clock. But the 45 days have expired, and the property is owned by an owner in Montgomery, Alabama. So the council tells me what their wishes are for me to act on this property. I'll be more than happy to do as the council directs.
Let me ask a question, Steve, so I understand exactly. The first owner, you went through the whole process and gave that person 45 days to remedy the issue.
And the 45 days are
And that expired.
Yes, sir.
But during that, you were notified that somebody else had purchased the property.
Yes, sir.
And you've given them 45 days, or not?
I've sent them the letter. It's in the post office for them to go sign to get it. If they've not obtained the property yet, they're not the official owners to it.
They don't have a copy of the deed.
They indicated to me they do not have the deed in hand. It is not their property.
But Ed, that wouldn't mean necessarily they're not the owners, right? Just because they don't have a copy of the deed? They may have written a check, bought the property. What's the normal process on that?
Well, I'm not real sure about this particular case, but you've done it just by the ordinance to the T, is that correct?
On the owners from Montgomery, Alabama, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They can't just keep flipping it, as time expires. I mean, if it's been condemned, if they paid the purchase price, have they paid the purchase price? You don't know?
I do not know about these people, no, sir.
Where are they from?
Andalusia.
So Ed, could you give an opinion whether or not we're within our rights to condemn it today?
If Steve says that we've dotted all the i's and crossed all the t's according to the ordinance.
My explanation and my understanding, we checked the boxes and title opinion has been run on it. There's no outstanding mortgage holder on the property, and the current owner of record is in Montgomery.
Can I see the picture?
Sure. I know it has to have a new roof. The there's a layer of debris that pretty much covers the roof. All the facial boards, they're rotten. I mean, it can be renovated, but it's going to be an extreme makeover kind of situation.
I think some of the complaints from that neighborhood is that they do not keep up the yard. The doors, of course, are left open. Animals are coming in and out. They've got...
The doors are closed.
Now? Okay.
Yes. They're busting window in front.
Someone else on Zoom?
I've seen it, I've been to the house.
Thank you.
So Brooke, the motion would be to demolish 118 Lynbrook?
We weren't going to take a motion today. Today was basically for the new owner to come in and ask for leniency. So there really wasn't a motion today. It was just a item on the agenda. We'd have to address that at our next meeting if we want to do that.
So we'll bring it up for vote next time?
So does this require an official notice in the paper for a public hearing, or we could vote today?
In the document that I sent to them, the owner had the right to have an appearance before this body, but they chose not to request that.
I got you.
But giving deference to the city clerk, I can certainly, in the next week or so, allow Mr. Hines to review the file. I can convey this to the prospective owners, that the city would plan to take action on it, with all bases being touched. We take action on it at the next meeting, and pending approval from Mr. Hines, we review the file, and have something ready to go at the next council meeting.
Okay.
Good. Thank you, Steve.
Any questions?
Thank
No?
you, Steve.
I have one question. If we got to the point of demolition, is that an expense incurred by the city?
Yes.
By the,
And then it's attached to the property.
The city can do a couple, the city can do it at city's expense. My preference would be the city to do it, to pay for it, and then by ordinance, assess the taxes to the tax record of the courthouse, to whoever would buy the property in the future would have to pay the taxes that would be due, demolition expenses, and then the city would recoup its money. I'd be happy to follow that process through.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Today, the city sponsored a food giveaway. It's 2 transfer truck loads of food. And I'm going to ask Steve Layton to come tell the council about it.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. We got in contact with USDA through both the state and the federal level. And I was put in contact with Tomato Time, and that's Tomato Time spelled T-H-Y-M-E. They are a facilitator for a program called Farmers with Families Food Box Program. And this is a program that ends this month, so we got in just under the wire. And what I asked for was a truckload of food to be delivered to Brewton. And in that food box comes chicken, sausage, cabbage, potatoes, apples, milk, and cheese. And I think yogurt is also a part of that. And what they were doing is, when COVID hit back in March, these farmers were stuck because the restaurant industry went to nothing. So what the government did was they went into these farmers and they purchased as much of that produce as they could, and then turned around and offered it to the public. And that's what this program is. And it came to Brewton. We started with one truck that was going to be 1,248 boxes. Yesterday I got a phone call, they asked if I would accept 2 trucks, and I said yes. Got to call the mayor. I just got a phone call that said that we have now handed out 2,400 boxes of food to the citizens of Brewton. So, with the mayor, Tomato Time, New Beginnings, who facilitated the handout, those folks have been at it since 7 o'clock this morning. They allowed us to use their loading dock, their forklift, their personnel to handle all this. The Brewton TV ran all the traffic through there and kept Highway 21 open. So this was a program that assisted the farms, it assisted families, and now it's assisted Brewton. So I thought it was a great thing to have right here before Christmas. Are there any questions about this program?
Does it only 1 month, or do we?
This is the end of it. It's the end of the year, and this was all done under the current administration. And once this is over for this month, that will be it.
I would give,
programs that roll out through USDA, but this particular program ends this month.
We are applying for another round with USDA, or we don't know
We
yet?
don't know what programs they will be. We'll always be looking at what programs they have, but this is the end of this one this month.
Okay.
I will say this was quite difficult to get this, and I would say Steve Layden probably put in a good 6 weeks worth of work, if not longer, to make this happen. It was almost impossible to find out how to get to this program. So anyway, you did a good job. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Been asked about New Year's Eve. We are having fireworks this year. We are not having a blueberry drop. Fireworks will go off at midnight. Also, there'll be another food giveaway Thursday, December the 17th at 10 a.m. at the John L. Fisher Community Center, sponsored by Pensacola Caring Hearts. So I know this is a difficult time for a lot of people at Christmas and with the coronavirus and other things going on, so this will be 2 large food giveaways this month here in Brewton. And that for them, council.